Your report is 9 plus 10 dB, Roger. $73, my friend. Good DX. Bye-bye. QRZ, Mike 0, Charlie X-Ray Zulu, listen over. Yeah, Victor Echo 2, go ahead. Roger. Victor Echo 2, Kilo Sierra Victoria. Good afternoon. Beautiful signal here. 59 plus 10 dB. His name is Vinny. Victor, India, November, Yankee. And the call is Mike 0, Charlie X-Ray Zulu. Roger. Yeah, Roger Nick, all copied, Radio 5. Beautiful signal and Radio 5 into my QTH here. And thank you very much for the contact. This is Mike 0, Charlie X-Ray Zulu. Wishing you 73s, Nick. QTX and 59 plus 10. And have a nice weekend, Roger. The antenna is a four element tri-band antenna from high gain. It's 50 feet, 15 meters above the ground, Nick. And I think you're French, but not sure. But merci beaucoup, mon ami, for the QSO. But my antenna is from high gain, mon ami, Roger. Nick, merci beaucoup pour le QSC, mon ami, and 73 is good DX. Au revoir from Mike 0, Charlie X-Ray Zulu. Bye-bye.
Kilo 1 Golf Mike.
Yeah, QRZ, Mike 0, Charlie X-Ray Zulu.
Kilo 1 Golf Mike.
Kilo 1 Mike, go ahead.
Yeah, Kilo 1 Golf Mike, Germany, Mike. Hey, Vinny. Name is Steve over here in Vermont, 5 and 9. In the clear. MM0CX Zulu, Kilo 1 Golf Mike, over.
Roger on. Kilo 1 Golf Mike. Beautiful signal. Absolutely local station contact and Steve. Name here is Vinny, Victor, India, November, Yankee, and we're approximately 14 miles northwest of the city of Glasgow. Roger?
Yeah, Roger. Geez, it's been a while. It looks like we did work back in 2017, so that's pretty cool. Been a long time. Hope all is well, and hope your shack has progressed, and sounds like you're having fun. I'm located in the state of Vermont, approximately 200 miles northeast of New York City, and running here, pushing about 400 watts, and out of a 2-element loop. I think I was on a hex beam back in 2017 when we last chatted. PW1 and a Sun SDR2DX. That's what's happening here, Vinny. Go ahead. Back to you. K1GMM.
Yeah, Roger, Steve, I'll copy that. I'm not sure much has changed since 2017. The radio I have is a Kenwood TS990, which I purchased back in, it might have been 2015, I think. I would have to check. The time goes so quick you can't remember, but I actually think I got the radio back in 2015. The antenna's probably changed, but more or less the same equipment, but only the transceiver there. And it seems to work great. So I've no, I don't have any. I don't think I'll change it anywhere anytime soon, there, Steve. But unless it gives me any hassle, but it's working fine and it does the job. So I'll just keep the radio here. I don't know where it goes.
What's going on, Andy?
To change it. So, but yeah, you're booming in here. Absolutely booming signal. And radio Super 5. Your audio sounds excellent. And we're running a 4-element tri-band antenna from high gain. It's up about 50 feet, beaming towards the US. And running about 500 watts from an ACOM 1000 linear amplifier. And that's about it on this end, Steve.
Ryan.
Just
what are you doing, dude?
Not too much power, not too much of a big antenna, but it seems to do the job, Roger.
Heck, dude. No, it's doing... I was just talking to a friend of mine, M6ENS, before I jumped in here, and I just lit everything up, and I looked at the band, and you were the strongest on the band. I was like, I wonder who that is. If it ain't broke, don't fix it, Vinny. Over.
Yeah, I'm up high. See, my location is up high. It's above. Well above sea level, and behind me is a quarry, which is full of iron, and the direction I'm pointing, I've got one direction that's difficult, is towards the east. Towards the east, I'm beaming into a mountain, so if I turn my antenna around towards the east, I'm beaming right into the quarry. But if I be after 60 degrees, I'm fine. Right round to basically the quarries. Let me see on my 90 degrees. After 90 degrees, I'm fine. I'm okay north, but from north to 90 degrees, I'm beaming into a quarry, which is full of iron ore, which I think helps when I'm beaming away, helps on the antenna for DX. I'm not sure, but everybody that tells me when I'm beaming away towards, I always get good signal reports, so even on low power. But I think it's got something to do with the quarry behind me, Roger.
I bet. Oh, yeah, dude. I believe it. I got a friend, Paul. I'm trying for some. I think it's M0WAB. I think is his call. He's in Scotland. He has a lot of iron ore, same as you, in the ground, and boy, it helps. It does. I guarantee you that's a factor. So that's working in your favor. I wish I had that here. But no, she's working good. I don't want to hold it because you got such a great signal and you're going to work a lot of people over here, Vinny, but I do appreciate you picking up the call. And I'll repost you on the cluster. You going to stick it out for a little while? Over?
Yeah, I'll be here for maybe an hour or so, or whatever. But yeah, no problem. Thanks for the contact and the QSO. And yeah, I'll no doubt catch you again further down the log. And yes, definitely. I think that's the issue with the. If I turn round to the east, I think I just get back scatter off the quarry. I just get deflection back. So I actually use a vertical to go.
Hey, Jose, what's up?
Because it's got
big dog.
Higher angle of radiation.
Master Jedi,
which seems to work
you
better,
freak.
but the beam's got no chance.
That's funny.
It goes through the quarry, and I've got negative signal there. So,
running more DX audio
anyway,
tonight.
All the best. You take care. All the best, and thanks for the QSO. Have a nice weekend. It's Friday evening, and enjoy. So take care, Roger.
Hey, you too. I appreciate you picking up the call. It's interesting. I'd love to see what like a half square would do at your QTH. You know, on like 40 or something like that, 2 phased verticals or parasitic verticals. Point them over here east or whatever. I'm sorry, west. Point them west from your QTH. Holy crap, dude. With that kind of ground, I bet that thing would rip. I don't know what you got for 40, but I bet that would do it over.
Yeah, I've got a dipole for 40, inverted dipole, but it seems to hammers out on 40, absolutely hammers out. Sometimes I've got to kick myself and think, you know, am I using a beam here? Yeah, it hammers out on 40, but yeah, we'll have to look into that antenna you're talking about, over.
Yeah, I'd love to see you try something like that, but I would never tell you what to do because of what you're doing. Like I said, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But yeah, with all that iron and stuff like that, just a real quick, what is his name? His name is Sven, Sierra Victor Echo November. I do not know his call sign. He's in north of Ontario, Canada. I don't know if you've ever worked him. Interesting guy. To my knowledge, he doesn't run any power, doesn't have to. He sits on copper mines. The entire ground all around him, what he's sitting on, is all copper, dude. You ought to see the freaking... When he's on 40 meters, he absolutely blows the freaking doors in here. And no beams. Just a dipole over copper. Yeah, do the math on that one, over.
Yeah, Roger, yeah, it's strange, isn't it? It's you know, I will say to people what works you know, I can be working a dipole, and people say, yeah, I'm going to get one of them. I say, but what works in my QTH doesn't mean to say that it's going to work in your QTH. But yeah, it's strange.
Hey, Rick,
the
cool.
radio,
Rick's back on the air.
You know,
good to see you, man.
You know, you have to try it. You have to spend the money and try it, unfortunately, and see what works, and maybe not expend the money. But definitely, if you've got iron in the ground, or if you've got copper in the ground, woof. And basically, if you live beside the seaside, you've won a watch, Roger.
Oh, heck yeah. Yeah. Geez, there was a guy a few years ago. I had just worked a station on 40 meters over in Europe, and he came in right behind me, and I heard him talking about it. And he lives right on the coast, I think coastal Massachusetts, and he was saying he could throw a rock in the ocean off his front lawn. And his antenna is right there on the ocean. Doesn't need an amplifier. I call that the great equalizer. Actually, Rick, I'm streaming this right now. K2GB can probably attest to that because he lived on Long Island. He told me he had a big Mosley up. This was years ago. And he told me he'd absolutely slaughter it. He'd just get in there and rag chew to Japan like every afternoon. It was freaking crazy, over.
Yeah, Roger. People tell me, say, how do you know there's iron in the ground? I says, well, all you have to do is look at the quarry and say, and why?
What's up, Scott?
How? I said,
Mike?
because you can see the iron.
I'll answer some questions in a minute, guys. Once I clear with
it turns a
Vinny.
brown colour. See the rock when they blast the rock, it's a nice kind of grey colour, and then once it's exposed to the elements, it turns grey. Not grey, but rusty colour. I says, that's iron ore in the rock. That's how you know there's iron in the rock. And people go, oh, I never knew that. I says, yeah. I says, that's how you know. It's full of iron. The rock is full of iron. And it's basalt. The rock is basalt, but it's full of iron, Roger.
Yeah, that's it. I never thought of that before, Vinny. K1GMM. Iron rust. So if it's exposed to the air, any humidity, it will rust, right, and turn red. So that's how you know, correct?
Yeah, Roger, 100%. It just turns rusty red, just like steel. Reinforcement or whatever, it just turns, it starts rusting, so that the rocks just looks as if it's rusting. So it's amazing, and that's how I know it's full of iron ore round about me, because the quarry is we get a blast every 1 p.m. every day, and the house shakes. But obviously it's monitored. They've got to keep it down to a minimum. But the house shakes every 1 p.m., Roger.
Holy! Do you have any cracked plaster? Does it ever crack the plaster or the sheetrock on the wall?
Negative, no, because it's monitored. They've got to keep they're strictly monitored, so they've got to keep the blast down. But you can feel the blast, but it doesn't shake the house that much. But it has one or twice, and I thought, oof, that was a big one. But no, we've never had any problems. Thank God, brother.
Wow. Yeah, I live right beneath. I think it's either the first or second. I think it's the second largest marble quarry in the world, the Danby Marble Quarry. It goes 2 miles deep into the mountain that towers up above me on the west side, and I never hear the blasts. But when they have these huge loaders, right? They're massive. These loaders are like, I don't know, dude. The tires on these things got to be like, I don't know, crap, dude, 15 feet tall. Massive things. It picks up these huge marble blocks that they take out of the mine, and they take the scrap and they dump it over the bank. And it's right above the house. When I say right above, it's probably about a quarter mile. Probably less than, as the crow flies, less than a quarter mile up the mountain. Goes into the side of the mountain there. The mountain's about 4,000 feet. And I can hear them when they dump those bolts. They are huge, dude. They're like the size of cars. They dump them over the bank, and it sounds like thunder. But it's funny because I never hear a blast. Never hear, because they do stuff like that in there. But I think it's so deep in the mountain, you just don't hear it. Over.
Yeah, Roger. Well, I actually work in the construction industry. I'm actually a bridge engineer. I inspect bridges, and that's solely my job. I just inspect bridges. But before that, I was used to work on roads, and I used to build bridges, but now I just inspect them. It's very interesting, all the mechanics and stuff about rocks and everything else. And you got marble, you've got basalt, you've got somebody just texted me. I've got a watch that connects to my phone that just vibrates on my arm when somebody sends me a message. But I love all that stuff. I love all the mechanics and things about rocks and basically that's my job, and which I've been doing for the past 30 years, and I've probably got another 10 years to go till I retire, hopefully, and I could probably retire before then, but I've got a private pension, but you take your private pension early, you lose a bit of bonus, but I don't get my state. I don't know if it's the same in the States, but we don't get a state pension here till you're 67. It used to be 65, but they upped it a few years back. So basically, my age, I think it's 66 for most people, but for my age, it's 67. So I just hope to God they don't up it again before I get to 67, rather.
Oh, goodness. Oh, yeah. I don't know about other states. I don't believe we have a state pension here. Pensions are all geared around, well, depends on if you're a state worker. If you're a state worker, a state employee, federal employee, well, that's different, right? If you work for a private company, that's pretty much if they have a pension set up, a retirement plan, whatever it be, 401k, blah, blah, blah. That's pretty much what you got. And then you got an option of what's called Social Security. Once you reach a certain age, you qualify for Social Security, but you can't make too much money because it'll come out of your Social Security. So you have to figure out exactly how to pull that one off. It's like walking a tightrope, Vinny. Go ahead, K1GMM.
Yeah, you have to cash in hand. That's what you have to do. But what we get is a state pension. Everybody gets it, so it doesn't matter regardless. As long as you work 35 years, you get 100% of the state pension. So I've worked 35 years, so I get 100% state pension. But I also have a private pension with my work. So basically, when I'm 67, I get my state pension. But if I wanted to retire early, which I could with my private pension, I could retire after 55, which I am. I'm 56. But if you retire before your retirement early with your private pension, you lose a percentage of your pension every year. I haven't really looked into it because I'm not going to retire. I don't really want to retire anyway because I enjoy life. I enjoy holidays and everything else and buying radios and whatever. So I don't want to be without money at the moment. So I'm not in the process. I don't even think I want to retire.
Hey, Mike.
At the moment,
Mike, let me.
There will come a time that I want to retire. So.
Hey, Mike, let me answer that quick before in case you need to get out of here. I'm on a 2-element delta. 2-element delta at 60 feet. Over. That's what my antenna is. Pushing about 400 out of a Sun PW1 PW1 amp and Sun SDR2DX. That's what's going on here.
And the state pension doesn't kick in till I'm 67. But the private pension I can take from 55. But
hey, Rick, you still got the 9100? Wow. Yeah. So you didn't tell me, Vinny. I don't want to hold you up. If you want to work other stations, let me know. Definitely don't want to hold you up. So tell me. You won't hurt my feelings. What did you do for work, Vinny? What was your trade? Were you a tradesman, or what did you do? Over.
I'm a bridge.
Todd.
I work in construction. I'm a civil engineer, Roger.
Oh, okay. I think you mentioned construction before. Now, was that were you a contractor, or were you was that like a government type thing?
No, I worked for a contractor. I worked for a contractor when I left school, and then I worked for worked for contract for 15 years to get experience, and then I went to, believe it or not, to a water. Went into the water industry, which is Scottish Water. I went into the water industry, and then I thought, nah, that's not for me. Bit boring, bit too slow. So I went to. From there, I went to local government, which is the same, but not the same. But I went to local government, which was bridge inspections, which took me back to what I was doing before, but used my experience on what I used when I came out of uni and stuff. Used my experience to do bridge inspections and et cetera, and it's an excellent job. I love it.
Cool, Rick.
I've got 900 bridges that need inspected every 2 years. And so it's like one of these ones that it's like a bridge that needs painted. So once you've painted it once, you need to go back to start and paint it all over again. So yeah, you've got so many inspections to do in the first year, and so many to do in the second year. And it's coastal as well. It's coastal inspections, all to do with coastal erosions and stuff like that. So where I work, the area that I cover it's not the whole of Scotland, obviously. It's only a part of Scotland. So, but it has more coastline than the whole of France. So it's quite a lot of coastline. So it's all the coastal erosion, all the bridge inspections, and then you report back. And then you put that out to contract for any repairs that needs to be done. So it's a big area and a lot of work, and you've got to keep everything tip top shape. And any work that needs done on the bridges, you have to program it and put it out to contract. Rather.
Yeah, Roger. Here's a question, kind of on a side note. I hope you don't mind the interrogation, dude, because I like learning about people. How long? I get the impression you've been in the hobby for a very long time. You're very comfortable on the air. So you've been in the hobby. When did you first get licensed, and what attracted you to the hobby? Go ahead, K1GMM.
Yeah, I was on CB radio back in 78, 40 channel AM radio. My friend had one, actually. I will exactly tell you how I got into the hobby.
I'll answer that in a second, Ryan.
He got
Ryan, you going to hang in here for a bit? I'll answer any
CB
questions you guys have.
And took me into his house, and I had these stations come out. So what is that? And back in 1970s. And basically, I went and bought. I bought one as well, and that's what got me in the hobby. And my first radio after that was I don't know if you were ever on CB, but it was.
Okay, Ryan. Thanks, dude.
No, it wasn't Hamilton.
I won't forget.
40 channel AM radio. And then after that, I got a Stag, the 357, and in the 80s, early 80s, and I heard all these American stations come through on AM, and I thought, how the hell do they come through here? And I used to hear all these stations booming out on AM, and after that, I went to other SSB radios, but anyway, I went for my license, and I ended up on
fascinating, isn't it?
Radio band there. So that's I got my license, and I had a big break because I got married and had kids and stuff. So I didn't actually get my ham license to 2000 or 1999. I got my license 1999. I went a big long gap without being on the radio, but that's how I got into radio through CB radio, Roger.
Yep, that's a very common thread, isn't it, Vinny? Very common. Yeah, I'm still on training wheels here. I've only been licensed since 2015, and that's exactly what happened to me. I came out of CB radio, 11 meters, which I had a great time, dynamite time on that. And it actually taught me a lot, and I came across, believe it or not, many ham radio guys that were actually hams that were playing on 11 meters. So, and I learned a lot, so it was a great experience and a great stepping stone. What I always say, radio is radio, RF is RF. It doesn't matter whether you're on CB or whatever. If you're spitting out RF, all the principles apply. It's all the same, right? So that's just where I stand. Well, you got a few years on me. What'd you say? 1999, I think. So that's that's 24 years. Depending on when you actually got it in 99. So that's a good run, dude. So you were playing on the radio during what we call the glory days. The glory days. I have a friend that's been licensed for 30 years, and he never ran more than a fan dipole, and he said 20 meters during the day was like the CQ Worldwide Contest. Just freaking mental. Absolutely mental. Never ran more than a fan dipole and 100 watts and worked pretty much anywhere he wanted to work. That was back in the day there, over?
Yeah, Roger. Well, at the end of the day, I always say if it wasn't for CB radio, amateur radio would probably be dead just now. There would be nobody on it. So, CB radios kept radio alive. And even now, the amount of people that was on the radio, you can see now, even now, the amount of people that is on peak season of the Sunspot just about maybe next year, but there's not as much stations on as there used to be, maybe 10, 20 years time it'll be even halved again. So you have to enjoy it, and there's a lot of people who've got radios that don't transmit, which is a shame. There's a lot of people just earwig and just listen. I can go on to QRZ.com, just look on my QTH here and just look about, and you can see amount of amateur radio operators in my QTH. But people don't listen, talk, they just listen, which is a shame. They really need to get out there and talk, and end of the day, maybe that's what they like. Maybe they do like to listen, but if you don't talk, the radio is going to die. You're going to lose frequencies, and up this end of the woods, I mean, I can switch my 2 meter 77s radio on and it's dead. I can scan the bands, and you find 50 megs, 6 meters, you can scan the bands, it's very quiet. 10 meters, okay, it's peak season just now, it's picking up. 10 meters is quite busy. But for years on end, there's nobody on 10 meters. There's nobody, but there's propagation, but nobody uses it. Everybody goes for the ETDX, everybody flicks down to 15 or 20, 10, 15. I mean, I was working station on the long path from the QTH here. I always look for the long path stuff. I like the long DX. Try to work stations that far away, but I was on 50.
This frequency's in use, thank you.
Well, last week I was talking to a VK2 station, and on the long pass, it was absolutely booming, and the band was dead. There was nobody there. Nobody's on the band listening, and nobody's on the band trying to DX because they don't know the propagations, and because it's weird. It's maybe years ago people used to work it more, but if you don't work it, we're going to lose it. So we need to keep working it, Roger.
Yeah, Roger, yeah. Geez, I was going to. A friend of mine told me, a close friend that's been in the hobby for a very long time. He said, just because there's nobody on the band doesn't mean the band is closed. He said, get in there, call CQ, call for 5 minutes, just over and over and over again, and then kind of take a break. Go do something, whatever. Go do some research, and let a few minutes go by, and then go call again for 5 minutes. He said you would be amazed at who comes back to you. That's old school. But yeah, that's what I was going to say. When I first got my general in 2016, I used to go up to a friend's house up in Rutland, about 20 miles north of me, 25 miles. And he had a beautiful station, gorgeous. And I knew nothing, and I still know nothing. I'm like a walking train wreck on two legs. But, I'd get in there, and that radio would be blasting in the shack, just blasting. And he had an ICOM 7600, and he had these two speakers connected to it that were these old Radio Shack, these old realistic, they were like cast iron type stuff, super heavy, these little bookshelf speakers from the 70s. They sounded like they were 6 feet tall. Really cool speakers. They sounded awesome. He had that on the radio. And it was just, every time I went to his house, it was blasting. And I finally said to him, I said, I walk into his shack, I was like, do you ever actually transmit on this? He says, no, not much. He said, I mostly find something interesting to listen to, and I just park it there. He's a retired guy. And I could never figure that out, Vinny. Why would you have a nice, big, beautiful station and you just listen all the time? Well, if I'm honest, I've only been in the hobby since 15. So that's what? 15, that's 8 years. And I can tell you that 90% of the time I am listening. When I'm in the shack and I'm doing some computer work, or I've spent the past 3 years putting together stuff for the TX and the RX side of these transceivers, software stuff, kind of developing different techniques and blah, 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 whatever. And I spent literally like 2.5 years of my life listening. And I get it. I do understand why guys just want to listen. But you're right. What are you going to listen to? White noise? You're going to listen to static? At some point, you got to get in there and run your yap. Right? I mean, you got to get in there and talk. So, coming across a lot of people, a lot of folks are mic shy. They don't want to talk. They're much more comfortable listening. I understand that. But this is all about communication, right? Right? So communication is not a one-way street, is what I'm trying to say. You know what I mean? So, anyways, back to you. I'll go one more with you, Vinny, and then I'm going to take a cruise down the band, and we're going to be doing supper soon. Been great to meet you. I'll go one more and get any comments from you. I do understand what you're saying, though. MM0CXZ, K1GMM, over.
Yeah, Roger, MM0CXZ return. Wonder what you're having for supper. Hopefully it's something nice.
What's up, Scott?
It's bedtime here, but it's excellent. I love the radio. I love a QSO, and certainly a long QSO. I'm not a contest guy. I don't like the
K3HDG. Holy crap, dude! What are you doing? Been a long time.
Guys that like contests, but that's their prerogative.
What's up, Robbie?
That's what they like and wire in, but I hate it. When I switch on and there's contests on, I just switch back off again. And one way I would say it kind of spoils the radio, but another way there's stations that would say, well, it doesn't because there's all these guys that like it, and yeah, why then? If you like contests, just do the GX and that's what you like. But yeah, personally myself, I don't really like contests. I like to come on, have a good old rag chew and a QSO, and it's good talking to certainly. I wonder what your longest QSO. I know you said you were going off, but I remember I spoke to a guy one night, and it was in Florida. I can't remember his call. It was a long time, maybe 5 or 10 years ago. Well, probably 10 years ago. And we spoke one night. It came in QSK into a QSO, and I started talking to the guy. And we spoke about 5 and 6 hours non-stop on this band. And I always say to this day that was we just hit it off QSO and.
Yeah, K3HTG. You're delusional, dude.
Talking about this, that, the next thing. It must have been about 6 hours of QSO.
It must have been.
The night just went so.
It must be horrifying to hear my yapping flapper.
It probably ended up
Holy
about,
crap!
4 a.m. here.
I won't hear from you again for another 3 years.
I can't believe how long the QSO was when we looked at it. But it's radio is good, and if you enjoy a QSO. Maybe some people don't.
I'm glad you're well, though, dude. It's nice to see you in here.
Their thing. But there's probably people listening tonight on the receivers and thinking that's what I like. Well, excellent, but you should try and transmit as well because it's also excellent, and I enjoy it. And there's different bands. I was on 10 meters earlier, and then I dropped down to 15.
Oh, I just shut it down.
To 20 meters.
I just shut the All-Star node down. It was up and going, and nobody was connected for like weeks.
But yeah, it's great stuff. And
I'll turn it back on. If you want me to turn it back on, I'll monitor it. You tell me.
I'll let you go and have whatever you're going to do, your lunch or cup of tea or cup of coffee or whatever, and I wish you all the best and have a nice weekend when it comes, and enjoy the GX. So this is MM0CXZ. Returning the mic back to you for the final, Roger.
Yeah, thanks, Vinny. K1GMM. Excuse me, hold on. Excuse me. Got a tickle in my throat. I got a tickle. Anyways, I got a funny one for you before we part ways. No, I'm always looking for a good yacker. Yeah, I really am. The hit and run stuff, I'm kind of moving back into the hit and run because event season is coming up. But I am totally content to sit here and yap for 2 hours if I have to. But the problem is I run out of steam. I get tired. And it has nothing to do with the person I'm talking to. I just get tired because I'm a lightweight. Anyways, the friend of mine I was talking about, AA1PR Mike, that I was talking about before, this isn't the guy with a 7600. This is the other guy that's been in the hobby for a very long time, right? So he had a station in his apartment, and he lived about 45 miles north of me. Here in Vermont. And we were on All-Star. So we had a big All-Star system up, and I called Mike. I said, hey, see if you can get in and work this guy. He was kind of interesting, right? I think it was on 40 meters. So I told the guy, I said, hey, stand by. I got a friend, A1PR is going to give you a call. And so and I didn't know what was going to happen, dude. I had no idea what was about to happen was going to happen. So he called him my friend Mike. He picked him up, and I'm sitting there listening, right? I couldn't hear Mike because he's too close on 40, but I could hear the other guy. So I kind of got the gist of what was going on. And this guy, dude, if you think I've got diarrhea of the mouth, I have never, ever heard anybody like this ever again. We sat there, and he got to 20 minutes in 1 over. And he was still going, and Mike called me, and of course you can't key up because he's not going to hear you. Mike wanted to get out of there. He just wanted to say hello and do the exchange, and he wasn't going to do anything serious. So he got into this conversation with this guy, 20 minutes of 1 over. 1. And he was still yapping. And Mike called me on All-Star. He's like, holy crap. I said, I know, dude. I'm sitting here freaking laughing my ass off. 35 minutes, dude. 1 over. He never stopped. Me and Mike we were rolling on the floor laughing. And finally, I said to Mike, Mike, I'm sorry, dude, but I got to go. I can't stay. I can't wait for him to finish. Who knows when he's going to finish? Have you ever heard of such a thing? I guess it does exist, but yeah, that was back in 2016. I almost wet myself. Go ahead.
Yeah. I know. I've spoken to a couple of guys myself like that, and I've not got the best of memories, short memories. Right, I'm getting a bit older, and my short-term memories not so great. So you end up at the start of the QS always talking about something, and switches to something else, and then he switches something else, and he switches something else, then he starts talking about this, that, and next thing, and you think, right, I'll just go make myself a cup of tea, and I'll grab myself a couple of biscuits, and do this and do that, and maybe just polish up. Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about, but it's not good because it's not a two-way conversation. It's a one-way conversation, and it just pisses you right off, and you think, what the hell is this guy on? If I was talking to you about a cup of coffee, right, I would say, yeah, I had a cup of coffee today, and you put in this, and I done this, etc. So, what do you think about that? And you'd come back with your comment. But no, these guys go on for about 2 weeks, Roger.
Yeah, I've never heard any K1GMM. I've never heard anything like that since then, or to this date. I almost wondered if it was a recording. You know what I mean? Somebody was just punking us. We were getting punked, and they just had an MP3 player, and they put the whatever speaker up against the microphone or something like. I mean, it was him. It was his voice, and I thought, it didn't upset us. We were completely blown away, dude. We were laughing so freaking hard, and I don't know. It's at a point. It got to the point where I was like, I just want to stay and I want to listen to see how much further he's going to go. When he dropped the key, we weren't there. We were gone. We just put our call signs in and left because it's like, dude, we got to go, but it's not full duplex, so how are you going to pull that one off? You know what I mean? So I'll never forget it, Vinny. Just the craziest thing. Nice guy, though. Super nice guy, but just off the rails. Like I've got a timeout timer on the rig I'm on right now, the SDR2DX, and I think it's set for 3 minutes, and I've hit that. Actually in the past 2 days. I've hit it a few times. So that tells you right there how big of a mouth I have, right? If I hit a time, see, I have friends that tell me, first of all, I'm a question talker. So I'll ask a question and then I'll follow the question up with a statement. So people think I'm done. And then they come in and they start doubling with me. That's a question talker. But see, I was a teacher, so I would pose a question to a group of students, and then I'd elaborate on that question, especially if I knew that they were confused about the answer. right? That's a question talker. Like, for example, am I exhausted? Yes, I am. Right? So if I say, am I exhausted? And I'm talking to you and I look you in the eye and I say, am I exhausted? And then I say, yes, I am. That's a question talker. Right? So, I'll freaking, I hit the wall all the time, dude. I have friends tell me, they're like, hey, if you can't say what you mean in 30 seconds or less, you shouldn't be talking. I don't agree with that because I can't do it, Vinny. Go ahead, K1GMM.
Yeah, Roger. MM0CXZ returning. Well, the SDR hit, but I was going to say that must be an age thing.
Train wreck. There you go, right.
As you get older, you seem to get not rigor mortis, but yeah, you do seem to rattle more, which is probably age thing, and you have to kind of reel yourself in and say, right, okay, I better get back to let the other station get a QSO there, but yeah, you do tend to get a bit of rigor mortis, as I call it, on the finger. But yeah, I know exactly where you're coming from there. And what was it when you say students? Are you do you do the is it radio amateur stuff you do, or are you on a uni or a college, Roger?
Oh gosh, no. This was back in the 2000s. Well, brief synopsis. I had multiple small businesses, which were all successful from the year 1989 all the way through till 2010. And I ended up in wedding photography. I've always been a photographer, right? So I started shooting weddings. And what ended up happening was I had a wedding client named Beth. She called me. She said, hey, I'm working at a boarding school. And would you like to come in as a contractor and teach digital imaging and photography? And I said, sure. So I went in, did the interview, and went in there. So that's what I did. They were age 14 through 18 years old. These girls were one step away from jail. They were basically, some of them were snatched even out of the shower and taken there. They were just right on the edge of going to jail. Really screwed up homes, stuff like that. Troubled teens, brilliant kids, absolutely brilliant, very talented. To be honest with you, dude, it was the most rewarding job I've ever had, teaching these kids, because they were so damaged, abused, all kinds of stuff, but they were incredibly talented, like razor sharp, just very smart. And it was my job to pull the creative side, to kick the creative side into high gear. And it was amazing to watch their progression and to see what happened, what was going on. Truly a gift, something that I will never let go of. It was an experience that can never be replaced, so to speak. So, yeah, that's what I did. So I taught photography. And some of them, I found out after the fact, went on to be professional photographers, graphic artists, and stuff like that. So it was really neat. And many of them, dude, were more talented than I was. I was doing it for a living, and these kids are a bunch of punks. And they were good, dude. I'm telling you, some of the stuff they did was stunning. Absolutely stunning. MM0CXZ, Kilo 1 Golf, Mike.
Yeah, Roger. Well, it's always a good thing when you put effort in yourself, and students come back out at the other end, and they're better than what you are. But yeah, excellent stuff. I've never done anything like that. The only thing I've done is my son with his, but obviously it's local because my son. But he was a good, as you say in America, it's soccer. We call it football here, but he was an excellent soccer player. And I used to take him all round the every Saturday out training and into young, football training teams.
Hey guys, I'm going to plug the node in tonight
country,
just to let you know.
Just
Hold
playing
on.
football, and then you get picked up by a
Turn the volume down.
Football team.
I'm going to turn the node on tonight, and if you guys want to connect in, go for it. It's the same one, 43516.
Oklahoma, and so he had he done his studies in uni and Oklahoma, and but unfortunately ended up with a bad knee and twisted his knee and busted his meniscus, so he can't play soccer anymore, can't play football. But he loves golf, he loves and stuff. But yeah, it's weird how end of the day,
Yeah, me too.
people,
Me too. I was just using it this morning on Zello.
Things
The 320,
go
freaking
around,
funny.
we actually went over to Oklahoma when he was in the States, and we done a tour. Went down through Texas, down to Mississippi, back up, and Tennessee. But we never got to. We never went to. I wanted to go to. What do you call it? Where the went to Graceland, etc., etc. We never enough time to go to. What do you call the big? That's terrible, isn't it? I can't even remember what you call it. What do you call the big? Place in America where the country music is. I can't even remember. That's terrible. It's a time of night. I'm tired, and I'll wake up in the morning. I'll remember it, but I can't remember, Roger.
Oh, you're talking about Nashville?
Roger, Nashville. I just couldn't get it out there. Nashville, yeah. I wanted to go to Nashville, but it was too far from where we were. We went to Elvis's. Went to into Tennessee and went to Elvis's grave. Went to Graceland, etc. And I couldn't believe there's an Aldi next door to Graceland. But anyway, I thought that was weird. But modern
Boy,
life,
the band is really holding up. This is amazing.
Didn't have enough time.
He's still strong. S9 plus.
For the,
Okay, Rick, we'll catch you later, dude.
We
Have a
just
good
back
night.
to Oklahoma,
Look for you
so,
on All-Star.
Yeah,
Great fun to chat with you again.
But yeah, we done a few things when we were there and enjoyed it. But yeah, life's short, but you try and do as much as you can when you're there, Roger.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, well, you know what I've lived by, Vinny, all my life? You do what you can today. You do whatever you can today because tomorrow you may not be able to do it. And that's the way I've always lived my life. I've shot myself in the foot, but I've done a lot of cool things, dude. Really, I've had a great life for being only 58 years old. Actually, I've had a great life. I did so many things up until I was 40 years old. First 40 years of my life were absolutely amazing. Dude, I could give you a list. I mean, I ain't talking about anything nuts, but just the things that I have done in my life, unbelievable. All the different things. My wife, well, I'm OCD. People who know me know that. And my wife says to me, the running joke in the house is, you know, Steve, she said, ever since I met you, when you get into something, you go to the highest diving board and you dive head first in, and you never even check to see if there's water in the pool. And that's the type of person I am, So in everything that I've done, I'm a musician, photographer, which is irrelevant, but it's more all of the other things. I've had a lot of fun, dude. Freaking, give you an example. This is brief. I used to do a lot of fishing down on the shore. I had a center console down there that I used to keep down there. Went down. I'd go down just for the day because I was insane. And I'm not going to get into, I had work. I worked 365 days a year, but I'd get out at like 10 in the morning, get in the truck, drive all the way to Rhode Island, which is about 3 hours and 15 minutes, go out, fish all day through 2 tide swings, 12 hours, come back, get in the shower, hotter than hell, totally exhausted, get back in the truck, drive all the way home, and go back to work that last night. That night, when I got out of work at 10 o'clock that morning, and I go in, I was a contractor, did all my jobs, and then I'd come back and go to sleep. And sometimes the following day, the day after that next morning, I would actually do it all over again. I was insane, right? And, it'd be like 90, 92 degrees, not a breath of air. What I call the sea of mercury, the mercury effect, when the ocean goes so flat and it's gray and it looks like a sea of mercury. And it is hot, dude. You just cook out there, right? I went down this one day. I'll never forget it. As long as I live, I wish to God I had it on video. 54 stripers in one day on the fly rod. And some of them were over 20 pounds. I was the only one out there. It was a big squid run, and it was the most amazing day of my life, dude. I was bruised from the butt of the fly rod. I was using a 12-weight rod because I knew there's big fish, and there's 60-pounders in there. And I was completely black and blue all through my abdomen. I couldn't move my arms. I could barely drive, and I had to come home that night. 54 freaking stripers, dude. All on a fly rod. Some of them were over 20 pounds. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. I have done some things, dude, that are just so flippin' cool, man. But it's things that I knew I wouldn't be able to do later on in life. So I just chose to do them and sacrifice whatever. I don't care. I even sacrificed my health to do it. I know that sounds sick, but that's what I did. Go ahead, Vinny, K1GMM.
Yeah, Roger, 100%. But see, OCD, right? I'm interested in that. How did you get a diagnosis for that? Because see, OCD, because it's a bit difficult to get a diagnosis. So how did you manage to get a diagnosis for that? Because I feel I've got that as well, but the doctor keeps saying no, Roger.
Well, I have been diagnosed, but I know I am, and I'll tell you why. So here's an example. If you're OCD, this is something you would do, right? You've heard the phrase, let it go. Well, I'm the type of person that can't let it go. I can't let anything go. So this was years ago. I'm not going to go into it, but I'm a musician as well. I've been a musician since I was literally a child. Ran a professional recording studio for 15 years. Been a session musician, drummer since I was 17, and all kinds of stuff like that, right? Been in the music, into music my entire life. I had to put things away during the COOF pandemic because my wife works from home now. And so if you're OCD, right? So when I tell you this story, you'll understand because if you're OCD, you'll identify with this. If you're not OCD, you won't. I did a lot of original music work. This was back in the 90s, late 80s through the 90s and early 2000s. Worked with different musicians, putting together drum parts, working on original music, everything from ska, fusion, progressive, you name it, like Fishbone, Primus, all kinds of stuff like that, right? Some of it heavy, some of it kind of fluff, right? Even folk stuff, like folk music, acoustic type stuff. So I was working on this drum part, and it was a fairly technical piece that I was working on. And I was working on it all week, and I could not get it, dude. It just wasn't right. And I've always played to a click track all my life. So my inner clock at that time was very, very good. I still hear to this day, I listen to performances and I can hear things that are out of time, right? My inner clock is like damn close to flawless. I can hear stuff that's slightly out of time. So, and it drives me crazy. So that's a little OCD right there, right? Can't let it go. So I'm working on this drum part, and the guys show up that following week. I've been working on it all week, and I said, well, listen to this and tell me if it's okay. And they listened to it. They said, man, don't worry about it. That's perfect. It's perfect. Let's go with that. And I said, and I backed it up, and I said, you don't hear that right there? And they said, hear what? Hear what? We don't hear anything. I said, you don't hear that? Right there. There's like a little thing out of time. I worked on this for freaking like 50 hours, dude. I could not get this part absolutely right. And they looked at me, and these guys are musicians. They're good musicians, better than I was. And they're like, dude, we can't even hear it. We don't know what you're talking about. You got to let it go. Right there, dude. I'll never forget it. That's when I realized I got a problem. There comes a point in every aspect of an OCD person's life where you have to consciously make a decision to let it go and say, this is good enough. Because an OCD person, it's never good enough. Over.
Roger. Yeah. You just summed that right up when you said that there, because as I said, I worked in the construction industry, and nobody... Les
Claypool! I call him Les Cesspool. Freaking guy's awesome, man.
As good as me.
Love Primus. I listen to Primus off and on all week, still to this day.
Right. You summed that right up.
Jerry was a race car driver. That's a goddamn fast.
Is what I'm like. And
freaking awesome. Tommy the Cat.
I'm what do they call me? They call me not obsessive. I've been called obsessive. I've been called.
Who's in your Jose? I'm amazed about the hot receiver.
Things, but at the end of the day, all I'm looking at is that's my job. If my job says that to be 25 mil off the side of the shutter, it's going to be 25 mil plus or minus 5 mil. If it's if it's 30 mil, it's not getting done, but it's just my job, and I get a
What's up, Mikey?
Hassle, off of people.
Yeah, really quick. Who was it?
And they say,
Jose. That is all the Rxdap system. I run it on all my radios.
You're probably the same.
It's the Rxdap. It's this right here. It's on my website. I will not ever run a radio without this system running ever again. It's freaking insane what this does.
I can't stand it. You get contracts then.
It's quiet. Take an S0 signal, make it sound like it's 20 over with no noise. It's freaking terrifying. Jose, let me...
but, end of the day, I thought it was just me. My wife says I'm terrible.
Let me get it up on the screen.
Absolutely terrible. I said, well,
let me stop.
Do you want a good job or you want a bad job? Do you want somebody to do a good job or a bad job? But I'm absolutely
It's this
terrible.
Right here.
I don't know if that's the same thing. Maybe I'm backing up the wrong tree here, but I've never been diagnosed. But you know, if I get a contract in the house to do a job, I say, well, like just for instance sake, put plasterboards up or something. No, we'll put windows in. We've got windows in, for instance, this year. Double glazing windows, and I was watching them. I had to sit and watch them. I said, you better seal up between the window and
yeah, new VST host file, Mike, on the website. Go to the website, new VST host file, all pre-configured, ready to go, with an infinitely variable bandpass filter, as well as the Ambio Orbit spatial imager. It's freaking cool, man. All ready to go. Runs just like Cakewalk. Yeah. Very cool, K1GMM. The problem with that whole thing, you know, the OCD thing, is it can be very stressful on a marriage and a relationship, right? We all know that. I ain't trying to play Mr. Therapy or anything, you know what I mean? Whoa, why is my audio so hot? What the frick? My audio's clipping on the stream. You guys let me know on the stream if that, you didn't say it was clipping, but boy, that was freaking slaying it. Anyways, I usually have a limiter in line, but for some reason, I guess the limiter's not there. Anyways, yeah, Vinny, just to let you know, this entire QSO is live on YouTube right now, and I'm getting ready to shut it down because I hear my wife chopping on the counter upstairs, which means, guess what? Dinner, I'm going to get, I call her H&R stomping stuff. She's going to stomp on the floor. And that's the signal. It's kind of like the One Ring thing, you know. I have friends that if they want to call me, see, I don't answer the phone without screening the calls first. So I tell them, well, when you ring the phone, you call my number, let it ring once, and then hang up, and then call again, and then I know it's somebody I actually want to talk to. It's a great system, dude. It works like a treat. Anyways, yeah, we're going to be doing dinner pretty quick here because that's the precursor. I'm probably about 5 minutes out. So let me, the guys can probably hear it. So if you want to check it out, go to, just type in my call sign on JerkTube, YouTube, and I'll pop right up there. And click on live. It'll probably be the recent file. This is a big one. This is going to take a while to render. So it'll be a while. Probably won't be till tomorrow morning until it's rendered in high def, Vinny. But if you're curious, yeah, you can go check it out and see what you sound like in here. You're strong. I was saying to the guys in the stream, actually, that I'm amazed that your signal has held up so well through the entire time. It's incredible, dude. So this has been a nice QSO. MM0CXZ K1GMM.
Yeah, Roger. MM0CXZ returning at 100%, and you're the same. Absolutely booming signal, and Radio 5. So yeah, I'll have a look at the YouTube video, and yeah.
You can't hear me anyways, Chuck, in California.
Yeah, and you do. It's, yeah, OCD.
I don't go west from here, you know that.
A lot of people have got it, don't actually realise they've got it. And
I can drive up the street and work California,
XYL, and
20 miles up the road,
went on to,
in the clear, off a 6.5-foot whip on 20 meters really at S9 Plus, any day of the week.
It did make me feel better. Make me
down here, no.
Calmer.
Ain't happening.
But there's a lot of side effects of that, another thing to talk to another day. So, but yeah, it's it makes you yeah. End of the day, I'm trying to think about other things there, but I'm trying to pick up mine. But anyway, I'll let you go, and thanks to the QSO, and pleasures on this end, and enjoy the weekend.
Stuff.
I'll have a look at the YouTube videos maybe tomorrow.
It's in the Rxdap-Epic page,
now.
Mike. Or whoever asked
that. My radio says 23:49, but I don't think it's that
follow
right.
the link in the description. That's the website.
I'll need to reset the clock on the radio, but I'll reset the clock on the not on the radio, but on the time. But anyway, 73, and take care. Pleasure.
Yeah, my audio probably dropped a little bit.
We'll no doubt catch you again there, Roger.
Yeah, very cool. Okay. Yeah, sounds great, Vinny. We'll look for you again. Anytime you hear me in there, I'll stop dead in my tracks, dude. So this has been a real treat, and I appreciate you taking the time to have a nice yacker. So, yeah, I'm kind of looking forward to dinner. Boy, your station, dude, is on the money. It's right on the button. There is some QSB, and at times you drop down, but I never lost you. And that's usually how I judge whether the station has got a little backbone to it or not. Take it for what it's worth. I know propagation is propagation. Location, 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 and then antenna, antenna, antenna. I personally believe location is more important than anything else, just based upon my experience, and I'm not going into that one, because that's a loaded one for sure. We'll see you later, Vinny. Go get a drink of water, dude. You must be freaking thirsty. I'm thirsty as heck. I need a drink. Anyways, 7-3. We'll catch you soon. MM0CXZ. This is K1GMM. I'm going to be off and clear. Take care, buddy. Over.
3 from MM0CXZ. I think it was a QSK there from our Scottish station, but all the best and take care, Roger.
Yeah, 7-3 there, Vinny. We'll catch you soon. K1GMM.
Yeah, 73. Bye-bye. QSK, go ahead, over.
Okay. That'll do her. Boy, she's hot, baby. This friggin' thing, everything's cooking. Temperatures up on the PW1, temperatures up on the sun. Woohoo! Digital analog ham. Hey, what's going on there, Cap? All right, guys, we'll see you later. I'm pulling the plug. Ripping it all the wall, baby. Thanks for jumping in. This was a fun little... I wasn't going to stream this, but I'm glad I did. You never know what's going to happen. I always have OBS running, and yeah, pretty cool. Yeah, that's it. Let me go through the chat quick. Not been in touch. Not too well here. Ooh. 26 Sierra Whiskey, not been well. Oh, that's too bad, dude. Yeah, catch me on Zello. I will be around, John. Sorry to hear that, dude. Well, wife and I will be praying for you. And, yeah, I think that's it. Hopefully you got the, all the information regarding what I do. Everything is on that website, and it's always in the description of my videos, so go there. You want to know anything about all the systems that I run, it's all there. And all of it is free, except for the Rxdap-Epic system. There's one plugin running, which is $25 and is worth every penny. It's the, whatever it's called. I don't know what it's called. What is it? The Bertom Denoiser Pro. It's a cracking plugin as far as noise reduction goes. But the biggest thing with this system, I'll just say this, is that it will lift the audio of the receive audio up and out. It is like throwing nitromethane rocket fuel on the freaking receive audio. It doesn't work on the IF. It works on the audio. But the system has an infinitely variable bandpass filter on it,
where you can tailor it to control the specific frequencies where noise is present, and uses what's called hard limiting. So a signal that's like, let's say you're listening to a signal that's 20, 30, 40 over, is the same level as a signal that's like an S7, S8, S9, which makes, you never have to write anything. It's really, really cool. If I were to go to the native front end on this, you'd freaking crap. How different it is. It is so freaking loud with the system. My headphones are actually almost off because the audio is so loud. It's absolutely crazy. If I were to go kick that out, put it in the entire system, the RxDAP and bypass, and listen to the native front end, you'd be like, holy crap. I got to do that sometime, because you'd be like, wow. You'll absolutely freaking crap a load. You'll be walking around with a big turd in your britches when you hear that. I got to do that sometime. It's shocking. Anyways, we'll see you guys later. 7-3. Woohoo! Where's my